They banned me from Christmas, so I made sure they'd never forget it. When Jake and I got married in 2018, his family made it their life's mission to hate me. I wish I were exaggerating, but from the moment I said I do, I was basically cast as the villain in their perfect little family drama. His mom, Evelyn, made snide remarks about my cheap upbringing. His sister, Nora, acted like I was invisible. His dad, the quiet enabler type, would just sip his scotch while everyone pretended I wasn't sitting at the table. They all thought I married Jake for his money, because he ran his own successful construction business. The first time I realized how deep their contempt went was during one of our early family dinners. I had spent hours baking a cake from scratch, something my grandmother used to make, and I brought it proudly, hoping to win them over a little. I handed it to Evelyn in the kitchen. She looked at me like I'd just handed her a bag of trash. Then, without saying a word, she walked over to the trash can, opened the lid, and dropped the entire cake in. I remember standing there, holding the now empty plate as she handed it back, completely expressionless. When I told Jake, he confronted her, but she burst into tears and claimed the cake had fallen on the floor. Nora backed her up like a trained parrot. Jake actually believed them. That night, I realized I'd married someone who would rather believe a lie than stand up to his family. Before the wedding, his parents made us sign a prenup because they wanted to protect Jake's future. I didn't care. I had a good job and savings of my own. Joke's on them though, because when the pandemic hit, Jake's business tanked. We burned through every cent of his savings trying to save it. Then we burned through mine too. Jake spiraled after losing the business. He wanted to move back to his hometown, to be close to family. I knew that meant being close to people who despised me, but I agreed because I still loved him. He took a part-time job while rebuilding his business, which meant I was paying almost all the bills. I even started buying all the birthday and holiday gifts for his family. Nice ones too. Designer scarves, fancy whiskey, spa sets, hundreds of dollars every occasion. I thought maybe if I was generous enough, they'd finally see me differently. They didn't. Every present they gave us was addressed only to Jake. Every conversation at dinner died the second I spoke. It was like living in a room where I didn't exist. Then came last Christmas. Early December, they finalized the family plans. A few days later, Jake came home and said, "So, Mom and Dad think maybe it'd be better if you didn't come this year. You kind of ruined the vibe." I thought he was joking. He wasn't. "Fine," I told him. "We'll do our own thing." That's when he looked at the floor and said, "I'm still going to go though. It's just one day." That was the moment I knew my marriage was done. He was choosing them over me again. So I made my own plans. I returned every expensive gift I'd bought them. Then I went to the dollar store and the clearance aisle. Evelyn got the cheapest bottle of knockoff shampoo I could find. His dad got a pair of novelty socks that said, "World's okayest grandpa." Nora got some hideous perfume that smelled like burnt sugar and rubbing alcohol. And his brother and sister-in-law, they had a chihuahua, so I bought the biggest rawhide bone in the store. So big the dog couldn't even wrap its jaw around it. The whole haul cost me $30. The other $570 I saved, I used it to put a deposit down on a new apartment. Christmas Day, Jake went to lunch with them. I stayed home, drank wine, and watched movies. When he came back that evening, he was livid. "What the hell did you do?" he yelled. "You embarrassed me in front of everyone. They all think you were being cruel." I just looked at him and said, "Why would I waste money on people who hate me? They didn't even want me there." He didn't have an answer, just stood there, mouth open like he couldn't process the logic. Last week, I filed for divorce. And here's the poetic part. That prenup his family forced on me to protect Jake, it also protects me. He doesn't get a penny of my savings. No alimony, nothing. We had separate bank accounts because of the contract they insisted on. Now, with his part-time income, he can't afford rent, insurance, or even groceries. He's been calling and texting, begging to work things out, but I'm done. His family finally got what they always wanted, me gone. The funny part is, they also got what they didn't expect. Jake, broke and alone, realizing too late who really stood by him.